Hi, folks. I'm Hector Garcia, and I'm here with the legendary Paul Dunn, who's done tons of contributions to the accounting industry. You co-wrote a book with one of my heroes, Ron Baker, called The Firm of the Future, and you helped us quite a bit understand value and the value that we give to our customers. And I heard you speak today, and you talked about changing your mindset, and this is something you've been talking about for years, that accountants change lives.
Yes.
And if you think that way, if you come from that premise, how do you even price life-changing things?
That's exactly right. I think I said today that, and accountants do that if you think about it. I mean, it could be a very simple case where someone is really feeling bad and things are going bad in the family because they just, let's say, with a tax return. And, and all of that has a ripple effect, but then they see the accountant fixes it. And then it's not just that they've changed that person's life, but then a ripple effect of that as well. But most accountants don't see that. And once you see that, then you, in my view, there's no way you can price that in 6 minute units.
Right.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, we're so used to admire that our customers pay for our time, or pay for our effort, or pay for the incremental milestones of our tasks. And until you think you're your first customer, right? So until you truly feel you can change your customer's life, then your customer will start believing you, and then it'll be much easier to price. But you talk about something that's so important. You interviewed Simon Sinek a couple of years ago, the famous author of Start With The Why. And you were talking about, he said something about purpose and humanity. What is it that he said?
So many of the people watching us now will be familiar with Start With Why and with that brilliant TED Talk that he did in 2009. And Simon says this, he says, first of all, differentiation, which we all need to do, right? So he says, differentiation comes from clarity of why.
Clarity of why.
As opposed to excess of what. But when we talk to the typical customer, or when the typical person talks with the typical customer, it's about, what? In other words, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do that. But if you understand the fundamental thing that Simon says, which are really two things, he talks about one, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Secondly, people don't buy what you do, they buy what you believe in. When you first hear that, it's like, no, that's not true. Believe me, it really is true. And then he says that differentiation, as it comes from this clarity of why, and as you were just saying, the important thing to understand about a why is not like a firm's mission statement. It's not, we aim to be the best XYZ on the planet or whatever.
Yeah.
Simon puts it this way. He says, true purpose is human. In other words, it goes beyond the product or service. And that's one of the things that I'm very privileged to take people through on the mentoring and stuff that I do. Yeah.
Right. And to unpack that a little bit, what I believe in as a leader of the organization, as a founder, maybe culturally what we said as an organization to what we believe in becomes our why. Like why we get up in the morning, why we do what we do, why is it even worth talking about?
Yeah.
The very non-important thing that is accounting. Accounting is really not that important. It's really transactional. It just needs to be done. In many cases, it's just about compliance. What you're saying is, when the customers connect and understand why you do it.
Well, you could say, you could say something like this to a customer. Could I just explain why we do this? And
okay.
Say, well, no one's ever said that before. Sure, go ahead.
So before we say, this is what we can do for you, you say, can I tell you why we're in business?
Yeah, the process would be something like this, that you'd be talking with the customer, basically getting the customer to answer certain questions, which would be about what they do and the scope, if you like, of what they want to achieve. And you then would say, well, that's fantastic, and I'm sure we're able to do it. Before I explain how we're able to do that, can I just tell you why we do that? And most of you, yeah, that's really fine. And then you might say something, well, in our company, we get up every morning to help business owners just like you get so much more out of their business so that they can actually sleep better at night, spend more time with their family, and live truly fulfilled lives and contribute to their community as well.
It's like a purpose statement.
Do you hear that? I mean, that was really cool.
Right.
And then you'd say, so how do you feel like? Well, funny. That's exactly the way that I feel, right? And all of a sudden, you're kind of together in a very different way.
So if the customer responds positive to your why statement, for your purpose statement,
Yeah.
you establish a connection.
Yeah.
And then what you sell becomes unimportant.
I mean, it's still important, but it becomes less relevant.
Less relevant, right?
And you trace it back, and that's because the reality is that people don't buy what we do; they buy what we believe in. So if we talk about what we believe in,
right,
and then they say, "Well, it's funny, I believe in the same thing." Right. Oh, well, let's figure out how together we can make that happen.
And what if they don't respond that they agree with you, or they don't get the automatic, wow, we're on the same page?
Oh, if they say something like, "Oh yeah, that's okay," at that point you would say, "Oh, well, clearly we're not on the same page." And it's very important for us that we work with clients who are on the same page. So if it's okay with you, let me introduce you to someone else who might be able to help you.
Right.
So right now, we're not going to be able to do that.
So fundamentally, we have to have something we believe in. We have to have a purpose. We have to communicate it. And we want to work only with customers that agree and connect with that. And that's just going to give us better customers, more profitable customers,
absolutely,
better relationships.
Absolutely. And if you think about that classic, all of us have customers who might be A, B, C, D. Like the A is already great. They pay their bills on time. They recommend other people. The D's are kind of, there's not a match. And if you think about it, Hector, where many people spend most of their time is with the D's. Right. Because they're the people that bitch, that moan and complain.
That's right.
So what if you had a business where you didn't have any of those?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. Because now you're spending time with the people who really do value what you do and who enjoy being part of what you do.
Right.
And you go, oh, this is so cool for them and for you.
So when we make mistakes as human beings, as professionals, our customers are not gonna, belittle us for the mistake or hold us to every single thing or ask for a refund because they believe in what we believe in and they know that although as a human being I made a mistake, my purpose of my north aligns to them, and if they see it, if it's real, then they're going to be just much more forgiving about learning experiences that because we can make mistakes as professionals because we're learning as well.
Well, that's right. And if you're not learning, you're standing still. I mean, failing is really, really important.
Right.
And how you react to that
exactly.
is really important as well. Yes.
It's not how you fall, it's how you get back up.
Exactly. Right. And in fact, failing is really interesting with a customer because when they see how you recover from that and almost overcompensate for it, it's like, whoa, that was amazing. So all of a sudden, the relationship becomes better anyway. Right.
And Paul, you're the chairman of an organization called B1G1,
yes,
which I learned about today, which teaches us some practical ways we can match our whys with the actual actions that we take to give contributions to the world.
Exactly.
Can you give us some practical examples of what you guys do or how we as professionals can be part of that?
Sure. Well, people who join us in B1G1, they now can, and the way we say it is they can bake this kind of giving into what happens. So, for example, we have customers around, or members, we call them, around the world, who say things like, every time we send an email, a kid gets access to water. I mean, just consider that for a moment, right? Or whenever we create a new client, 7 kids get to go to school for an entire year.
Or every tax return that we do, a homeless person gets fed.
Or, for example, I don't know about you, but I don't understand carbon offsets. I do not understand carbon offsets. But when we finish here, as you know, I have to take a plane to Singapore.
Right.
And what I do, I have a little personal one which says, every time I take a flight, 24 trees get planted. I understand that, you see. So it's very tangible.
It's tangible.
Yeah, exactly. And it's this tangible, relevant piece that makes this purpose and then linked back to the giving something. And by the way, we see it now. We're seeing where organizations don't have, amazingly enough, they have revenue targets. They have giving targets. Which is amazing. So, and
contributions to the world targets.
Exactly. And we're also seeing, you and I were talking about compensation earlier today.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing where, in organizations where it used to be that you would get an envelope and inside might be, a couple of $100 or whatever it was,
right,
because you've done something good. Now the people in B1G1, they're getting an envelope, but inside it says, by the way, well done, Hector. Now, we thought you'd love to know that,
right,
57 kids just got access to product
right,
for the rest of their life. You're like, oh my God.
You're letting your customer know the contribution,
Exactly.
the impact that they take. All right, and Paul, you give tons of advice and mentorship to other accountants and accounting practices or businesses in general. What is the best business advice or even life advice that you have received?
Oh, that's a tough one, but let me know if it's easy. Someone once said to me, why have you been, and I'm very grateful that you've been very successful in business. And I think it's because initially I only had two things that were important to me. And I used to say, well, whenever I'm in business, I'm there because I'm adding enormous value to the person I'm privileged to be serving, and I'm having fun doing it. That used to be the two things that I had. And then in 2007, I had this particular thing that happened to me when I realized this whole thing about giving. And so now I'm able to say, I get up every morning to help business owners create more impacts in our world than they ever imagined possible. And that just keeps me going and keeps me learning, keeps me failing and all those sorts of things, and brings me around the world so that you and I can meet in Chicago.
Awesome. Paul, thank you for the contributions you've done for the industry, and thank you for this interview.
Hey, thank you, and thank you for watching too.